I know you mentioned that Kundalini is more of something that we don't have to participate in as much, like from a mental space. But I find the compulsion to look up a lot of information and like do some of shadow work all the time. And is that my own like need to have the intellectual side satisfied, or should I follow those
Mm.
compulsions?
Yeah, so when you follow those compulsions, are you finding that you are getting some degree of success? Is it satisfying or does it feel like a slog?
So sometimes I'll feel overwhelmed with having to do work, but a lot
Mm.
of times I like receiving answers like, oh, you should work on this pattern or you're viewing this situation. Like it kind of gives me like answers, but a lot of times I do feel overwhelmed. Like, oh, I want to go out with my friends. I don't want
Uh-huh.
to do
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. So if it feels right, it's enjoyable, you find a natural inclination to do research and explore and to dive in to all of the different ideas and themes and concepts and traditions and stuff like that. By all means, explore, but don't feel as if it's something you need to do in order for success. That's the difference. So there are times where you're maybe really inspired. You can't stop devouring books and watching this and listening to that, and that's great. But if comes a time where you don't really feel like it, and you have this sort of guilt tripping voice that's like, hey, you gotta go and read, keep studying, or you're gonna mess this up. Like you can ignore that. You can really ignore that. It's There comes a point where like generally speaking, at least for myself, like I was reading all sorts of things, and eventually it just kind of that inclination just kind of went away. And I just saw that if I need to know something, either the answer will come intuitively, life will teach me through some circumstance, or through the flow, I'll find my way to a particular book or video and it will just speak to me directly. But I don't need to go and devour like the entire library to try and get as much information as possible. You begin to operate in a very efficient way. And one way you can actually tap into this in like a very direct way is called bibliomancy. Bibliomancy, which is it's the sort of new agey idea or something of like just opening a book. Just open the book to a quote unquote random page and read what shows up there. And sometimes it'll blow you away at how effective it can be. So you don't need to turn it into a whole like scholarly project, only if you feel like. Some of us are more inclined towards the intellect just by our general disposition, based on our mission, based on what we're here to do. Others are more inclined towards feeling in the body. Maybe others are more inclined towards creativity. If, for example, you find that you are called into a role of service where you maybe are supporting people going through this process or some degree of spiritual stuff, it's good that you have the terminology, that you have some concepts. It's good that you've read and explored so that you have resources that you can actually refer people to when the time comes. Whereas if you're like, say, find that you're like, I'm just here mostly to hold space for people. I'm mostly here to be an artist or to just show up as the best person that I can in my relationship, then you may not necessarily need to know every last thing about chakras and nadis and this or that. So you can also kind of figure out what is your mission here, what is your calling, what is your themes, what is your archetype, and around that you can kind of get a sense of what you're meant to figure out here. Because we all can't figure everything out. We all figure out what's relevant for us in our mission, and we just leave the rest behind. So that's how it's kind of been like for me, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.